Let us get into the next problem. This is Easy Kids, TRB Polytechnic Electrical Solutions for 2 marks. Okay, so next problem from Analog Electronics. Such a problem rarely happens in GATE also. Okay, so maybe a frequent problem in IES. The syllabus is there in the IES, A-stable multivibrator. It didn't say it's a A-stable multivibrator using a BJT or by using operational amplifier, because we built even a stable multivibrator using 555 timer also. Okay, there are a stable multivibrators of 3 configuration by using BJTs, by using 555 timer and using operational amplifier. So when we make a stable multivibrator, that is going to be a square function generator. It is in case of op-amp. In that case, we don't use 2 resistors and 2 capacitors. Okay, there we use only 1 capacitor and 3 resistors actually. So therefore, this is not matching with the op-amp based A-stable multivibrator. So A-stable multivibrator means the one which is going to produce a square wave, that is going to have a on time and that is going to have a off time. That means the expected thing is the one which is called as A-stable multivibrator. It's a free running oscillator, no input given, so it is going to produce the output on its own. So none of the states are stable. So we call it as A-stable MB shortly. It is going to produce the output. The output is going to be a square wave. Even you can take a single terminal that is with reference to the ground. Okay, so it is going to produce the output that's going to be a square wave. That square wave is going to have a on time and off time, like that. Okay, so this is going to have no stable states. This is going to be one state and this is going to be another state. This will be logic 0 and this will be logic 1. Digitally it will have analog value, maybe 0 and what, VCC. Okay, depending on the voltage you are going to bias the entire circuit, you'll have a power supply voltage 0 and VCC we can take, or digitally you can take 0 and 1 also. Okay, so it is going to be in 2 states. One is low state, another one is high state. Okay, so how long it is in high state, that's what we call it as a on time, and how long it is in no state, low state, we call it as a off time. So then the total time period will be defined by the sum of on time and off time. Okay, so there are 2 states. First, why it is called as A-stable means none of the states are stable. So it is going to be in VCC. Let me take its analog. So let me take it as VCC. It is going to be in the output will be staying at VCC level for a certain time. That's on time period. After that, it will automatically come back to 0. Again, it will automatically go to VCC. So this is keep on happening in every cycle, depending on how the 2 transistors in the A-stable multivibrators are functioning, how they are getting charged through 2 networks. We have R1 and R2. So the problem is focusing on what A-stable multivibrator means. It is a function of 2 transistors. So 2 transistor based A-stable multivibrator, but no one can remember the circuit actually. So this is becoming a tough problem. Okay, so and people may sometimes think like a Wien bridge oscillator, but that is the one going to produce sinusoidal oscillations, not multivibration. So there you probably remember 1/2 pi RC as a frequency. Okay, right? People play like this only. So, but that is not the expression. So he's talking about the frequency, that is not the real expression. So we should know. Without knowing the expression of this, we can't connect. So at least if you want to begin from 0, we should know where to begin. For that, you need the circuit, then you can connect, but it is a time consuming problem. So relatively people will feel tough. So since you can try to play with R and C anyway, the time period is going to be function of R and C. It's going to be function of R and C and some other constants, means then the frequency will be 1/RC. That's for sure. If you play with the product of R and C, then the product RC will be equal to, that's time constant of the charging circuit or the charging or discharging transient. So RC will be equal to 1000 pico. There is going to be 1 nanofarad into 20 kilo ohms. So 20 into 10 power 3. Let me take, for example, this is going to become 20 into 10 power minus 6 actually. So that means the time period, okay, will be 20 into 10 power minus 6 means frequency is roughly, one can predict 1/2 pi, something like that. It's not really that. Okay, something like that, into 20 into 10 power minus 6. Okay, so one can have an imagination. So 20 into 2 pi some numbers, 10 power 6 comes to the numerator. So it's going to be a megahertz divided by something, means result has to be, but 40 into pi, it's not really around 1000. Therefore, the result has to be in kilohertz. One can have the expectation. It's an anticipation, but so we can't surely say, nobody can surely commit for this which one is the right answer. So we have two options in the order of kilohertz, but still, okay, we don't know what connection. If it is only one answer in kilohertz, preferably people can go for that, but I don't suggest you that way. So let us go by the formal way, okay, actual way. Okay, so we'll see what exactly the circuit is, and then I'll give the frequency expression or the time period expression. Then from that we will connect, and separately in one more video we'll talk about the functioning of astable multivibrator using two BJTs. I'll just give the circuit. Okay, then we'll give the expression. You can just imagine how the charging and discharging of your capacitors will happen. Okay, so this is going to have a circuit that's going to have a VCC, and the bottom rail is going to be a ground. Okay, so we have two transistors in this. So one transistor, another transistor. You can label them as transistors Q1 and Q2. So they are connected to some resistors. Okay, in the collector, call them as R and R, identical transistors, identical resistors connected to the collector. Then we have two identical capacitors, C, and here also we have a C. That is C1 you can say, and this is you can say C2. Okay, so here we are going to have a resistor R1. Here we are going to have a resistor R2. Okay, so you can call it as R1, you can call it as R2. Okay, this capacitor voltage is driving the base of Q2. This capacitor voltage is driving the base of Q1. Okay, refer the dot connection. That's how you will have a multi-vibrator circuit. This is a circuit of astable multi-vibrator. Okay, so nobody, even GATE or IES aspirant, if they remember the equation straight away, they will go for the on time and off time. Okay, so that's a prerequisite. So without knowing the pre-fundamental of this problem, you can't easily connect. It takes time. You'll be running out of time for this kind of problems. So probably most of the students skipped, or since no negative marking, so roughly chosen any one of the two options. Okay, not sure whether it will be a right one or wrong one. Okay, so irrespective of VCC, so how it is going to happen means, so for example, roughly I'll give an idea how it is going to function. Then straight away we'll take the expression for on time and off time. For example, assume the Q1 is off. Q1 is off, Q2 is on. What is going to happen? Q2 is on means, so there is going to be a current in its base. Q2 on means assume it is in saturation. And off means assume it is in cutoff. So cutoff means there is no current in it. There is no collector current as well. Okay, so there is no current in this path. There is no current in this path. Okay, so then there is a current. That means no collector current in Q1. But there is a current in the base of Q2. There is a current here. There is a current here. Means then this potential, for example, you can take roughly around 0.7 or 0.6. So this point is going to be 0.7 if we take, and there will be current in R1, and there will be a current in R. Okay, so it is going to charge this way. 1 minute. Okay, so this is cutoff, right? Yes, Q1 is in cutoff. So which one will charge now? How the charging is going to happen? Yes, this is the current. So what is this potential? This is VCC. Okay, yes, how the charging will take place now? So since it is in cutoff, so there is no current in this collector. So how the charging can take place? Who will get charged now? Since this is an on condition, this potential is 0.7. So here it is going to charge this way. Okay, so this is VCC, this is also VCC. So this is 0.7. Let me have a small check about the circuit. So this is open circuit. There is no current in this. If there is a current, there will be a current in this path. There is definitely a current in this path. Okay, there is a current in this path. Okay, there are two currents. Yes, so the capacitor will charge this way, plus and minus. The capacitor will charge this way, plus and minus towards VCC. Okay, it will charge towards VCC because there is a current in this. This current is not passing through the capacitor one. So whatever the current in R, that is going to pass through this capacitor. Okay, right? So that's how this capacitor is getting charged towards VCC. So what is happening to this capacitor means, and since there is no current in this path, this current is equal to 0. So this current is 0. And then what is happening? So this is in on condition means. So VC is sat, you can take for this transistor, VC sat is equal to what? 0 volt. If that is the case, this point will be equal to 0. Okay, this is VCC. There will be a current in this. Okay, VCC by R will be a current in this, but that is a current in the collector, but that is not the current going through the C2. And since there is no current here, and therefore the capacitor C2 will charge, okay, via this. Okay, so it is going to charge via R2 C2. This is plus and minus. So this is going to be the potential at the base of Q1. So that means this capacitor is about to charge via VCC means, so it is going to have a charging transient like this. So it is on the way towards VCC. So what's going to happen is, so now the Q1 is in cutoff, Q2 is in what? Saturation. So let me take this as output means now the output is equal to 0 volt. Okay. So we'll see what is going to happen after some time. So the capacitor will charge, C2 will charge. Then by the time it charges, and definitely it will reach a potential around 0.7. Okay, for example, assume it reaches a potential of 0.7. By the time this potential reaches 0.7, and this is going to forward bias transistor Q1. So Q1 will turn on. The moment Q1 turns on, and instantly the potential brought down to 0 here. So this potential brought down to 0 means already some positive potential will be here. Say for example, around 2 volt positive, some positive potential will be there. If this is brought down to, because already this is keep on charging. So assuming it is 0, assuming already a built charge is 2 volt mean, then this point will become -2 now. So minus means it is going to immediately turn off. Okay, so Q2 will be triggered to off condition because of C2 charging. So C2 charging forces Q1 to turn on and Q2 to turn off. The moment Q2 turns off, then immediately it is going to be in cutoff. Cutoff means what will be the potential then? If it is in cutoff, then the potential is going to be equal to the higher potential. So sorry, if it is in cutoff means there is no current in this. There is no current in means almost the potential is equal to VCC you will get. So it is going to have a value of VCC. So like that, it is going to be remaining in on state for a certain time. Again, so what is this point? This is what is the point? Q2 in off condition. So makes your output VCC, and then Q2 off condition means Q1 is in on condition. And similarly, this state of operation where the Q2 will turn on, whereas Q1 will go off, so like that. So the state keep on continuing depending on charging and discharging of the two capacitors C1 and C2. That's a rough idea. So what is essential for us means we need to know the on time and off time. So we have to go by little basics. Then you will get this. So carefully we need to calculate the charging and discharging, and finally we have to go for the on time and off time. Okay, I'll focus on that derivation in one more video. For time being, you take it. On time and off time are going to be identical. So it's going to be accurately 0.693 times your R1C1. R1C1. Okay, R1C1 who is on time. On time means it is 1. So with reference to this, so it's getting charged during this period. Okay, yes, it's R1C1. Okay, so we can say, so suppose if any mistake, it will be given for the T off. Okay, so then this also going to be the same time. It's going to be 0.693 into R2C2. Okay, so since R1C1 and R2C2 are identical, so it's going to be 0.693 times RC. This is also going to be 0.693 times your RC. Then you can go for the time period double. So roughly people also take 0.69 also. 0.69 means it's going to be 2 into 0.69. So 2.2 into 0.6, 1.2, 2 into 0.09 is going to be 0.18 will be 1.38 roughly. So either you can take 1.38 or 1.386 if you want to make it accurately. So then T will be equal to double, right? So T on plus T off, it will become, so 1.386 times your RC will be the time period. Then the frequency will become 1 by T. That's how the problem should go, and you have to get the answer. Then it's 1 by 1.386 times your RC will be the correct answer. So 1 by 1.386 into R is given. What is the R? R is given. R is 20K, C is 1000 pico. So it's going to be 20K means 2 into 10 power 4 into 1000 means 1000 pico means 10 power minus 9 farads. Okay, it's ohm into farad. It's going to be in seconds, so frequency in hertz you will get automatically. So then what's the number you're getting? So 1.386 into 2, I'm making it accurate. 10 power 4 into 10 power minus 9 will be 10 power 5 in the numerator. So 10 power 5 divided by 2 into 1.386, then I'll take it 10 into, it's going to be in kilohertz, so 10 into 10 into 10 power 3, let me take, divided by 2 into 1.386, let me take. So 10 by 2 is going to be 5. So then it's going to be 50 by 1.386 kilohertz. So 50 by 1.386 kilohertz means it should be less than 50. Okay, so greater than, should be less than 50, greater than 25, because if it is 2, it is 25. If it is 1, it is, okay, 50. So the number should be between 50 and 25 is the expected answer. Okay, so only one option is there. So 50 is definitely not the answer. Therefore, you have to see the options and then make a simple conclusion. So the best possible answer is 36.25 kilohertz. Let me confirm this, what I'm getting by calculator. So 50 by 1.386. Yes, you have to do it manually in the examination, but anyway, it's not asking you to know the number. Roughly, you should know, okay, in the aptitude way. You should know how to play with the number and quickly conclude. So only two options are there. So you have to freeze quickly. So 50 by 1.386 turns to be exactly this number. Okay. As per the calculation through the calculator, I'm getting 36 kilohertz. That's my answer. So what is given? This is accurately 36.07 I'm getting. So it is given as 36.25. Probably he took 1.38. Let me check. Okay, so if I take 1.38, so let me check 50 by 1.38. If I take 50 by 1.38, if I take, then it is coming as 36.23 kilohertz. Okay, fine then. So he made it rounded to 36.25 kilohertz. Yes, that's a perfect answer for this kind of problems. Yes, this is little tricky and very less number of aspirants might have connected to this, because the number of problems happening using transistor based astable multivibrators are very less. Okay, so nobody can have a good practice before. Okay, so that's a reason. Okay, so number of students attempting and getting the right answer is 50-50 only, because by having 1 by RC, people predict it as around kilohertz. But which one is that? So that's completely your luck. Okay, so because nobody can remember the equation, only few can remember the expression. Okay, so if even if you go by fundamental, it is going to eat more time. So people don't afford to lose such a time for this kind of problems. Okay, either they might have attempted by a fluke or left it. Okay, so finally running out of time to complete this kind of problems. Okay, so this is no one can score problem. Okay, right? So it's finally going by the logic. Okay, choose logic, 50-50 logic. So if luck favors you, then 2 marks, otherwise no marks. Okay, so that's a kind of problem given in 2 marks. Okay, yes. So with this, let me conclude this video. We'll update you with one more video soon. Okay.